We're good to go. The Tim Black Show is a political show. U.S. politics is what we cover. We also cover breaking news and black culture, and we do it from a standpoint of gotcha. Now, look, guys. We do our best to tell a story as authentically as possible, pull no punches, and be as strong, standing 10 toes down advocate for Black Americans in this political climate. It ain't easy, but we do our best job at it. We don't always get it right, but we're always willing to learn when we get it wrong, and we do our best out the gate. So, hey, we got to step up and stand on it. The Tim Black Show is all about speaking truth to power. I think you are too if you're here. So stick around, become a part of it. Go to patreon.com, Tim's Take Loud, to become a member, or go to jointimblack.com. Also, pick up a mug. The Tim Black Legacy mug supports this independent media show. Go to timblackmug.com. That makes sense. Tim Black's mug. timblackmug.com. And yeah, man, I don't know why I got the hell is going on, man. It's kind of things all bunched up, man. I tell you, man. I need a wardrobe assistant. Don't want to have a wardrobe mishap. Whole room will get dark. Man, I have a good time doing this show. I gotta have a good time doing it. So, what's on your to-do list? Tim Black, what do we got here? Oh, we got a couple of topics that need to be covered, Johnson. These type of topics that people cover, but they don't cover. I tell you, man, there's too many people that are vying for opportunities and jobs. That's where most of their focus goes to, where they're going to get a job at, where they're going to work at next. So that hinders them in the ability to tell you this shit straight. So no, sometimes you sit back and you go, man, why are these people leaving out so much of the story? Well, man, it's because job opportunities, baby. You can't go against the Democrats. You can't go against Trump. People act like Trump invented that. They act like Trump's the only one that demands loyalty. Nancy Pelosi was knocking people's knees out for 20, 30, 40 years. She's been knocking people's knees out. They act like Trump's the only person that plays hard-nosed politics. In fact, guys, to that point, if you go to presidentialimpact.com, you'll get my free ebook where I tell you exactly how presidents get things done, even when they don't have Congress. And one of the main ways to get things done, strong-arming the hell out of people. See, when I was complaining about the Democrats who kept on using Joe Manchin out of West Virginia as their reason for not getting things done, and if not that, they were using Kirsten Sinema out of Arizona as a cheat code to not do things, and a bunch of goofies kept saying, yeah, they would do it if they could do it. They just can't do it because, mean Manchin and mean Kirsten Sinema. You would never say some shit like that to Lyndon B. Johnson. And he ain't the only one. You would never say some shit like that to Teddy Roosevelt or to FDR. Presidents have been getting things done all types of ways. And if you go get my free ebook, you'll see there's like 9 or 10 different ways presidents get things done without going through Congress or the Senate, even when they don't have the powers of those branches. Or those two chambers, I should say. So where are we at? One more time. Tim Black's, go to presidentialimpact.com. Just click it. I wrote it. Get it for free. Or be lied to by Roland Martin and his crew. Be lied to by Joy Reid. Be lied to by MSNBC, CNN, MSNBC, ABC. Keep listening to everything the Democrats say. Never question authority. Never question the narrative. Just keep falling in line. These people will have you believe Trump the only one that's out here going hard in the paint. Democrats went hard in to paint the opposite way. You just weren't told. Because these people don't want to go against the Democrats. It's funny how they're keeping their eye on everything that Donald Trump does. Meanwhile, when Joe Biden was in office, he rolled back every bit of border control. Under him, we let in, we let in like 14 million people. And you didn't know about it at home. It's funny how when Biden did things, nobody knew anything. You didn't know until it was election time. You're like, what? He did what? That's misinformation. No, it was true. It just wasn't publicized. Sometimes I feel like I'm just talking, man. Does anybody hear what I'm saying? Anyway, I get so tired of the Democrats being able to lie to my people, man. And my people believe it, and they have others that back them up. Others that back up the nonsense. Jesus Christ. Where's that guy's mouthing off? I'll have to get that later. Damn it. I don't want to forget him. Okay, guys, well, we don't have to get started with that. Let's get started with this. Gosh, let me get some more tea, man. This is ridiculous. Hopefully that works a little bit. The hell is this? Okay, good enough. All right, Johnson, let's get going. Now, I want to start off with shit. Here we go. Since this is something that impacted so many Americans, since this is something that has people cooked, and it was on every news article, every channel. I'm talking about the LA wildfires. Let's go ahead and start with that. Today, Donald Trump met with and sat with many officials in Los Angeles County, in LA. They had conversations. I have the clips. Let's let it roll. Donald Trump sits back, he spars, disagrees, but also agrees and talks with Mayor Karen Bass, live and in person.
Our city departments together so that people don't get caught in the loop of going from one room to the next. We want them all to be in the same room so that you can get busy rebuilding ASAP. Absolutely. Yes. Yes. And we will clear the lots. Absolutely. In the city and in the county. We are working together. Both levels of government are working in unity.
Months? Is it like we that's the answer that we got, and that's what we're all hanging on?
Yes.
So if you're telling us now faster, is it 6 months? Is it, I mean, all of our lives, rents, all this stuff is weighing on this.
6 months is no good.
And the number one thing that we are going to do immediately, and you will see this happen, is to clear out the debris. And you know, we're concerned right now over the weekend because of the potential rain, but we are going to move as fast as we can, but we want you to be safe, and we want you to be back in your homes immediately.
But the people are willing to clean out their own debris. It doesn't cost a lot.
Yes, and they can.
You should let them do it, because by the time you hire contractors, it's going to be 2 years.
If a family...
The people are willing to get a dumpster and do it themselves and clean it out.
And they can.
There's not that much left. It's all incinerated.
That's right.
And, you know, it's just going to take a long time if you do. You can do some of it, but a lot of these people, I know that guy right there that's talking, I know my people. You'll be on that thing tonight, throwing the stuff away, and your site it'll look perfect within 24 hours, and that's what he wants to do. He doesn't want to wait around for 7 months till the city hires some demolition contract that's going to charge him $25,000 to do his lot. Yeah. I think you have emergency powers just like I do, and I'm exercising my emergency powers. You have to exercise them also.
I did exercise them.
Because I looked, I mean, you have a very powerful emergency power, and you can do everything within 24 hours.
Yes. And if individuals want to clear out their property, they can. Well, yes, but you know that you will be able to go back soon.
Mr. President.
We think within a week.
That's a long time, a week. I'll be honest. To me, everyone's standing in front of their house. They want to go to work, and they're not allowed to do it.
And the most important
week
thing is
a
for
long
people
time.
to be safe.
They're safe. They're safe. You know what? They're not safe. They're not safe now. They're going to be much safer. A week is actually a long time, the way I look at it. I watched hundreds of people standing in front of their lots, and they're not allowed to go in. It's all burned. It's gone. It's done. Nothing's going to happen to it. It's not going to burn anymore. There's nothing to burn. There's almost nothing to burn. And they want to go in. The people are all over the place. They're standing, and I say, why aren't you going in? We're trying to get a permit, and the permit's going to take them. Everybody said 18 months. You said 18 months. You said 18 months.
That was last night.
And that was last night.
On that.
We can't even see our homes right now. We are blocked from entering our street.
Hey, you know what, man? I gotta say, this is it's a little all over the place, you know, little disjointed, but I like the idea of putting it on camera, having a conversation in public, having civilians there, of course, having it viewed by everyone to make it very transparent. I don't feel that the Biden administration had much transparency. Now, we all know Trump won't get any credit for this. It's not earth-shattering, but I do think it's important because a lot of the criticism that Karen Bass has been getting, that she's willing to sit down with Trump, with cameras running, with people there, and take it on the chin if necessary, and defend herself. So this is the most talking I've heard her do, which has been part of my criticism. Yeah, I'm not someone who blames her for everything that happened. There's been fires for so long in that city. There should have been a requisite amount of people that had already been there, that been through this, to counsel her as well, and also who knew better what needed to happen. You know what I'm saying? So, but my criticism partly was, speak up for yourself. Say something. Damn, don't just sit there. Don't stand there like a bug on a wall. Say something. So I'm glad she's talking back. Let's keep going.
We can't even, this is our first time we saw our house was yesterday.
You mentioned a couple of things in terms of us expediting. So I signed executive directives right away so that we could cut the red tape. We could get people back building as fast as possible. And we're going to continue doing that.
Yeah, the one thing is they are saying they will not be allowed to start for 18 months.
No, that will not be the case.
Okay, I just hope
That
you're
will
right.
not, you can hold me to it.
There's 4 groups said that.
No.
That would be, they should
No,
be able
that-
to do it. They should be able to start tonight.
That will not be the case. You know, first we have to take care of, to make sure that there's not getting rid of the hazardous waste, cleaning things up so that people can start right away. And just like you said, if somebody had their house was destroyed and they're going to rebuild essentially the same, maybe a little bit longer, a little bit higher, they really shouldn't have to go through much of a process. So I want you to know that we are expediting that. We absolutely need your help. We need the federal help. You're a
You've got it.
builder.
I told you. You will have no permit problem. There will be 0 delay. And as far as I'm concerned, you already have the permits.
And the resource.
I am more worried because I met at least 8 groups of homeowners, and I'm much more worried about the fact that they said it's 18 months exactly, and they were devastated. They want to start now. They want to start removing things. They're not allowed to do it now. And you mentioned hazardous.
Yeah, I got a feeling that 18 month is very specific, right? So if everyone said 18 months is what they were told, how long they would have to wait to start to rebuild, like, what are you going to do meanwhile? I think that is a real, somewhere, they got the number from somewhere, which means that was a number that was handed down by either Karen Bass or somebody in authority to the people, and people got that number and it's stuck in their heads. He didn't make the number up. And that's too long to wait. Okay, so, but I do like the fact that Karen Bass is saying, hey, I need your help. And Trump is saying what he's supposed to say. You got it. You'll get it. So let's keep going.
Waste. Well, the hazardous waste. What's hazardous waste? I mean, you're going to have to define that. We're going to go through a whole series of questions on determining what's hazardous?
Nope, nope,
I
nope,
just think
nope.
you have to allow the people to go on their site and start the process tonight.
And we will.
Okay, good.
You can come back and check.
You have emergency powers just like I do, and I'm exercising my emergency powers. You have to exercise them also.
I did exercise them.
Because I looked,
signed
I mean,
an
you have a very
emergency
powerful
declaration.
emergency power, and you
Yes.
can do everything within 24 hours.
Yes. And if individuals want to clear out their property, they can. Well, yes, but you know that you will be able to go back soon.
Mr. President.
We think within a week.
That's a long time, a week. I'll be honest. To me, everyone's standing in front of their house. They want to go to work, and they're not allowed to do it.
And the most important
week
thing
is
is
a
for
long
people to
time.
be safe.
They're safe. They're safe. You know what? They're not safe. They're not safe now. They're going to be much safer. A week is actually a long time.
Yeah, I'm trying to understand, like, okay, so I don't know enough about the process to really condemn either side of this. Is the city going to be under liability if people go into their property, start doing things, start cleaning it up on their own, and then they get hurt? Can you give them some type of waiver that they could sign so that they could rush the process if they choose to? There goes something that we could consider. I'm surprised Karen Bass isn't saying, the state liability, the city liability, to some extent has to be considered because there are precautions that need to be made. And if they need to sign something or do something, maybe Trump should be thinking of that. And I'm also noticing Trump doesn't have any notes. Like, look, guys, this is serious stuff. We shouldn't be just spitballing. I mean, I'm an independent media guy sitting here doing this show, but I got notes. Where's Trump's notes? I see Karen's got something over there, but I'm saying we shouldn't just be shooting the shit. This is people's lives. So if things need to be official, need to be on the record, somebody be taking notes. I guess since we got to record it, you don't need to take notes. But I'm just saying this should not just be a conversation. This should be an action plan, unless we're just doing it for the cameras. If we mean business, then we do things business way. And I'm sure Trump knows that, and I'm sure Karen Bass knows that too. All I'm saying is don't waste our time. Don't waste your time. Let's get it all in writing.
The way I look at it, I watched hundreds of people standing in front of their lots, and they're not allowed to go in. It's all burned. It's gone. It's done. Nothing's going to happen to it. It's not going to burn anymore. There's nothing to burn. There's almost nothing to burn. And they want to go in. The people are all over the place. They're standing, and I say, why aren't you going in? We're trying to get a permit, and the permit's going to take them. Everybody said 18 months. You said 18 months. You said 18 months.
Okay, I'm going to tell you something that's a little bit different about Trump. Now we've been repeating stuff for the last couple minutes, and that's not that helpful, but maybe if you didn't see it earlier, it's good. Check this out, guys. Something that I'm noticing about Trump and this interaction is he's saying a lot of what people told him. And when he says people, he's not talking about government officials. He's talking about the people that are on the ground. He's talking about the citizens whose houses were destroyed, whose homes were eviscerated. He's saying that those people told him these things. That's a little bit different. That's a little bit different than what I'm used to hearing from politicians, particularly my Democratic politicians. They typically, they're talking about the party. They're talking about talking about other entities and what the guardrails, so to speak. And Trump sounded like somebody. Now, I don't know if it's true or not, but it sounds like someone who's in tune with the people, and he's speaking from the interaction with those people. And that anecdotally, some of the people he talked with are actually sitting there. So, yeah. I think this is a good conversation. I think this is a good moment. I hope that it benefits the people. That's the whole point. If it doesn't benefit the people, this is a waste of time. But if it does accelerate things, if it does make Karen Bass have to own up to what she said at this meeting, if it makes Donald Trump now accountable to provide all resources, as he stated he would. He said he would provide the help, he would clear the paperwork, he would remove any regulations or restrictions, and then he would provide resources. Well, You want stuff like that on the record. Yeah, because one of the things politicians love to do is say they said it, but then say they didn't say it. Is say it, then say they didn't say it, or say it, and then say, you must be me. I think you heard me wrong, or some other loophole. All right, guys. Fantastic, fantastic. I'm loving it. Anyway, guys, give me a like and hit the like button. Let me know what you think of this segment. There's still so much. Now the real work begins, right? The cleaning up. That's the real work, baby. It's just getting started there in LA. Give me a like if you like this segment. We're going to keep going to the next segment. Thank you guys for being here. All right. Let me know what you think about Trump and about this meeting. What do you think about Kern? Impressed? Ticked off? What? What say you? All right, man. So we're gonna jump right into the frying pan, man. Yeah, why play around? This is what we came here for, right? All right, so there's been conversation about civil rights. Civil rights, that's been the conversation. Donald Trump, executive orders impacted civil rights. Some say it removed civil rights protections. And we're gonna have some clips. We're gonna have a conversation. Let's get into it. Here goes everybody's favorite Reverend Al Sharpton on MSNBC's Ari Melber. Well, Velshi is taking the place of Ari. Let's hear him out.
Has essentially shut it down. Former Attorney General Eric Holder calling the Civil Rights Division the, quote, conscience of the Justice Department. But today, President Trump has essentially shut it down. Trump's new DOJ leadership has ordered a pause on any ongoing civil rights litigation. Prosecutors have also been ordered against opening any new cases or agreeing to new settlements. And this basically freezes any activity that the DOJ Civil Rights Division is undertaking. Trump's DOJ also ordered a halt on activity involving so-called consent decrees, which are agreements between the federal government and local governments who address discriminatory police practices, which could affect reforms and probes that were launched after the deaths of George Floyd, Breonna Taylor, and Tyree Nichols. The Civil Rights Division has a storied history. It investigated cases like the Mississippi burning murders and the church bombing that killed 4 little girls in Birmingham, Alabama. It was a DOJ lawyer who faced down George Wallace in the schoolhouse door. And it was another DOJ lawyer who escorted James Meredith to integrate Ole Miss. In fact, that same lawyer, John Doerr, later walked 50 miles to safeguard protesters marching from Selma to Montgomery. And one day in 1963, Doerr put himself directly in harm's way between.
Damn it, this is a propaganda piece is what this is. Yeah, why are we getting the history of the Department of Justice? There's so many things that we could also cite that's negative about the Department of Justice, about all types of virtual signaling, but not actually going in and having any teeth to actually get things done, or actually implement some of the things, or react, or actually cause some type of change from the information that they've been gathering. So we're going down memory lane, and notice he's going way back. Taking me way back about conversations in the 60s. Somebody tell Velshi, it's 2025, man. It's a new era. At least if you go virtual signal from, I don't know, the last decade.
Armed police and civil rights protesters in Jackson, Mississippi. He shouted, quote, I'm from the Justice Department, and anyone here knows what I stand for. Network. And my good friend, Rev, there are a lot of people who don't really know the work of the Civil Rights Division of the Department of Justice. It's storied.
This is why I have such a problem with the Department of Justice, and why I have such a problem with the Democrats. Al Sharpton and this guy here, Ali, this is disrespectful, man. Look, I'm going to beat you to the punch because I'm going to streamline my criticism. Well, Al's going to go and he's going to blow VA and have a lot to say. It's not going to materially be anything other than transgender, gay, LGBTQ, migrant, and then throw black on the backside of that. Meanwhile, use us to say how to more and use us in order to make the argument, but talk mostly about defending their rights. Check this out. There's a variety of criticisms to the Department of Justice that come from Black Americans. It's not out of thin air, nor is it hyperbole. Ever since the year 2000, there's been certain criticisms. Some of those criticisms include ineffectiveness in the protecting of voting rights. Yeah, it's a lot of talk, but at the end of the day, the voting rights got eroded. Some Black Americans argue that the Civil Rights Division has not done enough to protect those rights, particularly in the wake of the 2013 Supreme Court decision that struck down key provisions of the Voting Rights Act. And even though Ali Velshi just cited so many instances of where the Department of Justice stood up or whatever they did, still, failure to address police brutality and racial profiling, that's the main issue that Black America feels the Department of Justice has done a horrible job at, a horrible, pathetic job at that. Black Americans criticize the Civil Rights Division for not taking a strong enough stance against police brutality and racial profiling, which have been ongoing issues in many communities for over 3 decades. 3 decades, same problem. Lack of diversity in leadership. Now, a lot of Black Americans still are under the impression that you need Black faces in those places to make change. But as I sit here and as you sit here, you see on the screen Reverend Al Sharpton. It's because his Black face is in the place doesn't mean things change. It means he picks up some change. He gets at the bag. What do we get? The shaft. So I don't agree necessarily with that criticism of the Department of Justice. But I do have to say, where's the proof in the pudding as far as the results? They say that the lack of diversity leads to a disconnection and a lack of understanding of the issues that are facing Black communities. I say they understand well, they just don't have the prioritization of Black issues. They are more interested in grabbing the headlines and working on issues that impact LGBTQ and immigrants. And it's not a big mystery for why that is, because there are immigrants that are white and there are LGBTQ people, mostly all white. So that's why those other groups get outsized support, consideration, and prioritization. In short, those are white people too. So white people going to help white people. White people going to have less pushback when it comes to helping people that look, resemble, or seem just like them. And that's unfortunately for all the sellouts, that just ain't going to work for you. People act like the Department of Justice is riddled with the same biases that everything else is. The people that work at the Department of Justice are made up of the same people that work at the police academies and at the fire departments and in the school systems, in the prison guards and all these other things. America, we're all infected with the biases, some conscious, some unconscious, some implicit, some explicit. Okay? So, them acting as if it's the end of the world because of civil rights changes. Gotta say, whoa. Stop acting like we was living a humdinger. Everybody was singing and skipping and running down the street holding hands, and everything was beautiful. And now, oh no, the sky's falling. Because an office that wasn't getting much done, some stuff on the books, but materially, well, how was it impacting my people in Memphis, Tennessee? How was it impacting the kids in Chicago, Illinois? How was it impacting those people in your communities? How much impact was it having for you? Now, we're about to play this segment. I'm almost done, but I want you to keep in mind, when people tell you that things are going well, just remember they're talking about paperwork. They're talking about, in this report, says here that we have this and that set up. But if that does not impact your life and make your life better, does it really matter what's on their damn book? What's in their ledger? What's in their report? What Eric Holder has to say about the storied past of the fantastic Civil Rights Division of the Department of Justice? Did it stop the kids from getting bombed in the school? or in the church? Did it stop any of these things? Did it stop the shootings? Did it stop any of the issues? Did it? Did it stop Ferguson? Yeah, I know from investigation that Ferguson was being over-policed. There were 5 different police jurisdictions over-policing a small town of Fergusonites, funding everything around it by pulling people over 3, 4, 5 times a day. There was one brother that was pulled over a record 100 times in 6 months because tickets paid the bills. They get a directive from their chief and handed down from their mayor to hand out the tickets and make the money. I'm sorry, guys. I didn't mean to make this part so long. Let me end it. Here we go. Political interference in recent years caused some Black Americans to express concern about political interference in the work of the Civil Rights Division, particularly during the Trump administration. They say Trump got in the way, which I don't doubt. What I'm trying to tell you is overall there's a broader discomfort and a broader frustration with the pace of progress within the civil rights issues in the United States. That is with or without everything that I'm citing for you that people have been complaining about was with the Civil Rights Division of the Department of Justice. That's with it in place, not with it out of place. People have been making these complaints as if there was no division of civil rights justice. You understand what I'm saying? Okay. It's just some of the rhetoric that I'm hearing coming from people is like, now the sky's about to fall. Where you been? You're standing on the sky. It fell already. You just didn't get the memo. You too busy watching Netflix. Because you ain't catching hell. You think this ain't hell. Guess what? Hell has arrived. About 50 years ago. All right, now let's listen to Al Sharpton tell us how the world's about to end.
This is a very big deal, stopping its work right now. What's the net effect it's going to have on people?
The net effect is that there will not be a department armed with federal law to protect citizens against hate crime against women, against crime against LGBTQ. The human rights of all of our citizens were protected by this division, the Civil Rights Division. And let's remember, when you mentioned George Floyd and Breonna Taylor, and you could have mentioned Ahmaud Arbery, all of that happened while President Trump was president, and he did nothing. But the Civil Rights Division under Biden came in and prosecuted the police in George Floyd, even though they had faced state charges and state convictions, and in Ahmaud Arbery. And they had consent decrees with those police departments. With all of that removed, Trump is now trying to have a society where there would be no redress for the George Floyds, no redress for the Minneapolis Police Departments, as well as the departments that they put under decree under the Biden administration. So it is to really undo. He's already.
Okay, guys. I wanted to allow Reverend Al to talk because I do have a knack for cutting off people and talking too much. But let me just say, Al didn't let me down. It was like I was gone for 2 seconds trying to adjust something over there to my light before he said LGBTQ, women, and some other stuff. See what I'm saying? Where are all these other groups? Why isn't there a segment on every anchor woman show about civil rights? And why aren't a bunch of white women, Latino women, Asian women, all being probed and asked questions about civil rights? If the Civil Rights Amendment saves all of these people, why is it only Al talking to black people? Why is Al the one talking when it's everybody? Where are the immigrants? Where's all the trans people? Like, why does it only seem like it's always focused on black people to save the day for a program that's supposed to protect everyone? And it ain't been protecting us, so I guess it ain't been protecting them very well. And sure as hell it didn't help Lake and Riley. So I don't know. Like, what does it do? And he's going to bring up, the fact that there are some people believe that the state should handle prosecutions of state matters and that the federal government shouldn't step in if the state had it. That's how some people believe. It'd be one thing if the state didn't do any work on it, but the state did prosecute George Floyd. It'd be different if they didn't. Then it'd be good for the Department of Justice to step in, I guess, right? Because we know how racist some of the states are. But you can't use that as an example. I just don't get it, man. Why they let Al? I know why. He's the voice of Black America. Black America, do we still want Al Sharpton to be our voice? Who picked him? Which one of you Negroes picked Al Sharpton? Or one of you Negroes? Which one of you Negroes, we're grouping Negroes, still thinks Al Sharpton's on the post of it? It is not corrupted by the money. It's special interest in the power.
He tried to undo with dealing with the question of suspending DEI. Now we're dealing with him disarming us from even having the law properly investigate civil rights crimes.
So one of the reasons that the Civil Rights Division stepped in the cases that you mentioned is that states sometimes don't have the power. The crime doesn't meet some sort of state standard. And what the Civil Rights Division of the Department of Justice says is that this crime or this alleged activity violated someone's civil rights, and they go in with federal protection. So sometimes it's the lawsuit of last resort.
It's not only the law. The feds have the resources that some of the states don't have, and it's different federal law. But let's not forget, when he first ran, Charlottesville happened. And you had people marching down the street saying Jews will not replace us.
See, Al's book, I just hope people see what I'm seeing. There's a video, we wind it. Name all the different groups that Al mentioned that he used in this rebuttal. Won't he go on TV and yell at those people? Won't he go talk tough to the Jewish community? Oh, yeah, he can't do that. Won't he go talk tough to the ladies, to the white ladies? Oh, he might lose his job because some white women will write letters. And some of those white women are married to powerful white men as well. See, we the only group of people that get badgered with this nonsense as if we got to be used. Our likeness, our blood, our story, our history has to be used over and over again to fund everything. And at the end of the day, we end up on the bottom of the basket. And we get tired of it. I think we're finally tired. Enough of us are finally tired of it, and we have a place to voice it, and we're voicing it online. Hurry up, Al. I'm almost done with you.
And the Civil Rights Division looks at that. We had the first hate crime summit in the White House with Joe Biden as president, Kamala Harris.
Where did it get done? All this shit Al talks is about talk. That's all it is. Reasons for rich bastards to sit around in each other's company, slap each other on the back, and pick up paychecks, and be a part of committees that pay, and be a part of other organizations that get donations that pay. It's a big-ass racket. At the end of the day, if it does not improve the material conditions of the people that are affected, what good is it? What did it do for Michael Brown, really? What did it do for him? What did it do for so many people? Gunned down. What did it do for Tamir Rice? How did Tamir Rice's mom benefit from this? I'm just wondering, what are you talking about? What has it done for the communities where these things happen? What has it done? How does it help? It's to see a big-ass bureaucracy where people get paychecks and speakers' fees and notoriety. I want people to show me exactly. And you know what? And I want those to be working people. Not what you heard, not a friend you know says. No, what do you know about this, about the Civil Rights Justice, Department of Justice, and how it so impacted you? I'm not saying it never, ever did anything that was helpful. What I'm saying is, like all things democratic that are led by the Democrats, in this case it's the federal government, it's always $1 short and a day late, and it's never as far as they should go to be effective. And that's been my main complaint. And once again, we're the engine that runs it all the time. And all I'm saying, if you're going to be running your engine off of our blood and sweat and tears, we should get we should get the priority. And we don't. We don't. This conversation continues. Let's move over to Chris Cuomo. Everybody loves Chris Cuomo, right? Everybody hates Chris. He's going to talk with Byron Donald. I guess I can sing that for him, too. Everybody hates Byron.
Joining me now, Florida member of Congress, Republican Byron Donalds. Good to see you. Happy New Year to you and the family.
Good to be with you, man. Happy New Year.
So, Byron, the main concern is if DEI isn't forced as a focus, you will not have representation and inclusion of minorities, regardless of foundation of merit. And that's why it needs to be a point of emphasis. What is your response to that argument, and how do you assure that everybody gets a fair chance?
Well, first of all, let me just say that...
Listen to the concept. I'm sorry, folks. Listen to the setup. I'm going to play it again. You may have missed it, okay? How the hell could anything ever live up to that? There is absolutely nothing you can do in this life that will guarantee anything. There's no guarantee you can make it to the bathroom. There are things that can happen. A person could drive through your living room. Think it's a lie? I've seen it happen. I saw a car literally drive into someone's living room, run over the bathroom. You could get struck by lightning. All types of medical emergencies can happen to you on your way to your toilet. Okay, so the idea that you would even preface a conversation with saying, what Chris Cuomo opens with, is goofy as hell. This shit ain't magic.
Donalds, good to see you. Happy New Year to you and the family.
Good to be with you, man. Happy New Year.
So, Byron, the main concern is if DEI isn't forced as a focus, you will not have representation and inclusion of minorities, regardless of foundation of merit. And that's why it needs to be a point of emphasis. What is your response to that argument, and how do you assure that everybody gets a fair chance?
Well, first of all, let me just say that DEI, and the construct of DEI, hasn't even been around long enough to even make that kind of a claim. We've had diversity viewpoints, diversity ideas, not just in the federal government, but in the private sector for decades. The equity piece that was really introduced during the Biden-Harris administration at the federal level is the one that has a cause of concern, because it ignores merit, it ignores skill sets, it ignores the ability to actually do the job, and puts your demographic criteria at the front of the line before your actual qualifications. Look, I think at the end of the day, everybody wants to make sure that people who are getting jobs are qualified to do them. That is most important. But you can't put just diversity for diversity's sake ahead of qualifications. It's not 1972, it's 2025. We're in a different phase in the United States of America. And so I would argue that, yes, meritocracy does matter, whether you're black, white, Hispanic, Asian, whatever the case might be. You have to have the skill set, you have to have the merit in order to acquire these jobs. Your diversity or your intersectionality cannot be the driving force, because that does discriminate against other people who might be more qualified for that job.
And what about people of color who are qualified but don't get the opportunities that people who are in the majority get because of the inclination of employers and legacy and other acceptance mechanisms?
Well, let's just dissect that for a second.
Why do you have to throw in legacy? Now Byron gets a backdoor out of the conversation because Chris wasn't comfortable saying, maybe we got some bigots up in there that don't want to hire no Negroes. They don't want to hire any blacks, so maybe they work there. So instead, since Cuomo wanted to make it more palatable to his audience, Byron gets to ignore it and talk about everybody want to help their kids. Everybody wants to help their kids out. That's not a black thing. I watched the segment. It's disgusting.
There's always going to be a legacy bias because the truth of the matter is that people who have legacy or have different connections, they're going to provide those connections to their children. That's just a fact of life. That's not a white thing. That's a parent thing. Every parent does that regardless of their skin.
It's a white parent thing. Can't leave a legacy if you didn't get an opportunity to make some money. Can't leave a legacy if you couldn't get a job. Can't leave a legacy if you were denied access to building wealth. Hard to leave a legacy that way. Some people did it. Everybody's not Shaq. But I know it's not up for Byron Donalds to solve these problems or even articulate them because, well, that would put him on the outside of his party, particularly the MAGA strain. And I get it. I understand it. I don't co-sign it. We got to speak truth to power and tell the truth. Okay? These programs are not going to save black folk. If these programs are going to save black folk, we'd already be saved. That is my argument.
Skin color. You could look in the NBA right now where you have a lot of prospects moving up who are now the children of former NBA players. Why is that? Because their parents, their fathers actually went through the NBA process, whether they were superstars like LeBron James or not superstars, but they were able to use their connections to help their children achieve a better path forward in professional sports.
Man, we talking about people get into prestigious Ivy League schools, becoming, managers, directors and above of major corporations and hooking their kids up. We ain't talking about becoming a point guard on the Lakers. What are you talking about, man? Only a very small percentage of people can play basketball at that type of level. Stop acting like a black man for a second. And stop talking sports. Talk corporate America, Byron. See, you won't be able to use that as well, will you? You're using like the only places you could actually have a conversation. I've been noticing that about these talking points that they've been using, right? So what they've been doing is they've been saying, well, look at the NBA, look at NFL. Black men. Yeah, but they work for white guys. Every one of them works for a white guy who's worth 100 times more than them. But see, no one talks about that part. I'm just saying, man, these are games they're playing. Look, man, just because I don't rock with the Democratic Party doesn't mean I stop that I stop seeing what I see. I still see the same issues. It's just my remedies for it have changed. Crying about programs that didn't work, crying about programs that left us inept, crying about programs with them being in place did nothing but watch the racial wealth gap widen. Listen, folks, here's my problem. I'm about to play Byron, I'm about to shut up, but I gotta say it. Just keep in mind, as your friends and family members complain about these rollbacks, remember, under these rollbacks, the racial wealth gap got wider. Okay? If these programs were effective, wouldn't we be benefiting from them? Shouldn't we be benefiting from them? And maybe it's time to try something else. Maybe we need some new ideas. Maybe the market is resistant to these programs. Maybe the only people they really benefit are the people that work in them. Is that crazy talk? Sort of like the self-help people that tell you, hey, I can make you a millionaire, buy my book. And the only reason they're millionaires is by selling that book. Get it? Let's keep going, people.
That happens in every industry in our country. So put legacy aside. The key piece is if you have the talent and the ability to actually walk in the door and earn a position, yes, you sometimes have to work your way up from the bottom. I started my career in 2003 out of college. Black kid in Southwest Florida, had no connections. I started at the bottom. I worked my way up. This is how it is supposed to work. But if you just supercharge somebody past the initial starting blocks, do they have the requisite skill to get there? And do they have the requisite experience to stay there?
Sound like you're talking about Kamala Harris. Had to say that, had to slide. That's the first thing that popped in my head. Come on, I ain't the only one. I'm not the only one who thought that, am I? Come on. Comma, chameleon. Come and go. Come on there. I know I'm not the only person that thought Kamala Harris when he talked about incompetent. Springboarded into a slot without being prepared for it. Hey, man. There's worse things than getting a shot. Getting the shot before you're ready, that sucks. Come on, Donald, let's wrap it up.
That's where some of the DEI stuff that has come out, and again, this is very recent. Like I said, diversity has been a staple of corporate America for decades. That's something that's been there. But the equity component, trying to move somebody ahead of the line simply because of their intersectionality, actually does not work. It is discriminatory. And if you don't believe me, ask Harvard how that's worked out, where they were sued in federal court for using an equity lens and ignoring the merit that was achieved by Asian American students.
Hey, I want to point out something. Thank you, Donald, for your duplicit, your sellout talking points. Now, listen, guys. Listen, we could disagree. We could disagree. I disagree with some of the things he said. Here's the deal, man. I'm noticing that there are people that don't see this factor. So let's stress it. There's a component of class in all of this. I'm seeing people that are from a certain class who pretend they're not, but they are. I could tell by the way they frame the issue. They don't see. They're complaining about Black Americans who are online saying, hey, we don't need that help. We can do what we got to do. We can start our own business. We don't need them. Forget these programs. And I'm seeing a certain class of Black folks going, those programs are important. Them programs help Black people. Them programs. A lot of people saying these things are inside of corporate America. Corporate America people who are making decent, good salaries, decent to very good salaries, they may benefit in some tangential way to these policies because of where they're at. But I can tell you this, if you work in a regular 9-to-5 job, or if you're working in some type of service industry, if you're working in some type of job that is not highly skilled, not a manager or engineer in tech, or engineering, or in one of those types of jobs, the likelihood that you're really benefiting from any of this shit we talking about is very slim. Slimmer than Slim Charles from The Wire. You understand what I'm saying? Slim Jim, slim, tiny. Okay, so we got to realize that we got some different Americans. We got white America, Black America, Latino American, Asian American, Native American. We got these. America's still very segregated, but never forget, there's a segregation in the subgroups of all those groups, and that's called class. Chris Rock said it best. He said, hey, and I'm paraphrasing, it's not just about putting a sign on the door, no blacks allowed. We got this new type of discrimination. It's called prices. Yeah, prices discriminate too. Put $500 up or something and you'll see your clientele changes. And what I'm trying to tell you is that with this issue with DEI, with this issue with the civil rights protections, what have you, particularly with the DEI, I'm seeing a class divide on the importance of the issue. All right, let's keep it moving, folks. Give me a like if you like this segment. Give me a like on this content. My name is Tim Black. We do this 10 o'clock. I'm just going to say 10 o'clock because I can't remember the last time I went before 10 o'clock, actually starting the show. Buck Bewley and my friend Black Mamba moderating in the comments section. Before we proceed to the next segment, let me just pop over, see how people are doing. Sher Brown says you are getting exploited. I know exactly what letter you left out, and I know it. Black Magic says, I love how burning down communities like they did with Black Wall Street is considered merit-based. Yeah. Malcolm Rex says, slimmer than Slender Man. There goes an analogy I was looking for, fam. I was looking for that one. Slender Man, yeah. Even if they have money, they still discriminate. That's true. That is much. Yeah, it may be hard being black and having money, but at least you got money. Yeah, there it is. Gaston Neal says, DI has never helped me. Slimmer than frog hair, y'all. Slimmer than frog hair, y'all. I guess civil rights could be considered freebies. No, but I guess it is to people that didn't have to do anything to get them. They just walked into a country where people fought for it. And then they say, hey, why aren't you fighting for us some more? I saw some I think it was a Mexican woman on, it's all over X. It's going viral. A Mexican woman is complaining that Black Americans are saying things like, hurry up and leave, being very rude towards Mexicans about this whole deportation, repatriation. And she's saying, hey, we helped you guys back during slavery. Well, we helped you guys because when you came to America, when you finally did come to America, the civil rights, well, we died for those things. And now you get to enjoy them. But unfortunately, we have a country that exploits us, oversteps us, and hires you over top of us. That's what people don't understand. They don't relate to the fact that that's what happens. If it was them, and it is them, for some people, you can always tell people that don't experience it, people that have not dealt with it in the real world, because they don't understand it. I was the same way. I didn't understand what my dad was telling me. Hey, he worked in the construction industry. And he said, Tim Black, he said, Tim, once upon a time, there would be a lot of brothers in my group. And that's changed. Now it's all Hispanics. He got along with them very well, but he was just telling me, and I was always like, "Damn, Dad, why you Moose? Why you always why is he always saying stuff like that? Like they're good people. They just will work hard and get their life together." I thought the same thing. Well, they had a lot of places to go, particularly depending on how well they knew the language and how light or fair skinned they were. You understand what I'm saying? Some people understand and some people don't. Everyone is not able to hear the message because everyone has not walked through it. It took me years to kind of understand what he meant, to really get it. When I got into corporate America, I saw it. Anyway, let's keep going, guys. I want to thank all my people here. Tim Black Show, thank you for being here. Thank you for becoming a member. Thank you for ordering a mug at timblackmug.com. That's the sponsor of this show. Let's go to the next segment, fam. Yeah, let me close the chat. Oh, boy. So much here.
Point. I want to get you to respond to this because what I'm already hearing from people who work for Trump and are his allies is that there's really no leg the Democrats don't have a leg to stand on because President Biden leaving today, issued a raft of pardons, including for his own family members and his sister and his brothers and their spouses, and then also for an activist, an elderly activist who is convicted of killing 2 FBI agents. Chris Wray did not even want him to commute that sentence that President Biden did today. They say that that doesn't give Democrats an argument here to criticize these pardons. What is your response to that?
I mean, I think that's the mistake we're seeing now, is people trying to reduce this to tribalism. This is not about Democrat or Republican. You know, Joe Biden pardoned a lot of people. Yeah, he should answer for that and explain what he did and his reasoning. But the people he pardoned, his family members, did not, before the naked public eye, beat police officers, try to overthrow our government, lead to the death of police officers, and have injuries, scars, both visible and invisible, on police officers that are still affecting their lives.
Yeah, I haven't covered a Cory Booker video in some time. So basically, I put this up here because, you know, I want an opportunity to do his voice. Oh, come on. We need more love. We need more love. Oh, please. Come on. I know he sounds a lot like Tim Scott. They're in the same. Yeah, it's bad when you got to defend your president against doing the same thing that the other guy did and somehow make what the new guy did worse than what the guy you say who has all the moral authority has, you know, did. You know, it's crazy. And the dude pardoned his entire family, his entire bloodline. What'd they do? What could you possibly charge him with? Anyway, I thought it was funny. It's funny how they see all the January 6ers all as cop killers. You know, like it was like a 78-year-old grandma who didn't touch anybody. You know what I'm saying? But they don't care. Cory don't know. He just says stuff, cuz. Anyway, I'm going to go ahead to the next story. I don't even know why that was in there. Guess I wanted to lighten the mood. I got two stories. Let's go with Joy Reid. I also haven't covered a Joy Reid segment in quite some time. So here goes Tim Black responding to the readout. Yeah.
That they could. Federal employees are receiving emails warning that they could face repercussions if they do not snitch on their coworkers who work in diversity, equity, inclusion, and accessibility positions that might have gone unnoticed by government supervisors. DEI efforts date back to the civil rights movement to create more diverse and inclusive workplaces. But on Thursday, Trump slammed them as absolute nonsense in remarks to the World Economic Forum.
My administration has taken action to abolish all discriminatory diversity, equity, and inclusion nonsense. And these are policies that were absolute nonsense throughout the government and the private sector. With the recent yet somewhat unexpected great Supreme Court decision just made, America will once again become a merit-based country.
Joining me now is Rob Shriver, Senior Advisor of Democracy Forward. He is the immediate past acting director for the Office of Personnel Management under President Biden. I always chuckle a little bit when he says merit-based system, given that he was a host of a television show who is now the president, and most of his cabinet are also television show people with no experience and no qualifications. But I digress. Let's talk about some of these orders. So we were just talking about it before the break. Let's just bring it on camera. This is what Project 2025 entailed, right?
It certainly is, Joy. They telegraphed that this was what they were going to do. They have an agenda here to drive out from the federal government the career experts who Americans depend on to deliver critical services, to block the agencies from backfilling them with other career folks, and instead to surge in political appointees who are loyal to the president.
Yeah, you know, man, I thought it was to destroy the country and bring us back to slavery. I thought that's what the goal of Project 2025 was. Every time I heard them talk, you mean it's just me? You mean they just want to give it to people that are going to undermine his policies? I don't know. If I was a Democrat, I would kind of want Biden to do that so he'd have no excuses of why he couldn't get done what he said he'd get done. I'm just trying to figure it out. I mean, isn't that what you would want a president to do? Like not have excuses? I mean, he's not going to set the world. Like, this is not a lasting change. Like, he's president for 4 years, right? right? So if he says, hey, in order for me to be effective, I want these things to be this way, and I have the power to do it, doesn't he have a right to do that? I'm just saying, doesn't he have a right to do that? If he says, if he only has 4 years, then he's out. He can't run again. It's over, right? And then when Biden comes in, or anybody, well, not Biden, but somebody else comes in, could be Biden actually, then they have a right to do the same thing, right? They can redo and put it back the way they want it. I just don't see, is it illegal? That's what I want to know. Is this shit illegal that he's doing? You know, and why is it that ending of DEI programs, once again, if the DEI programs was so damn effective, why are black people so damn bad off? Why are we 40% of the homeless? Why are we 40% of the homeless and we had all these great DEI programs running? I find it hard. It's really difficult for me, man. It's difficult for me to disagree with him when he says they're ineffective because I spent every day before he was president the second time. Almost every show I'm talking about the plight of Black America. That plight is under these programs. Listen to me, y'all. There's some of you that just want to dismiss me and just put me in a category of Looney Tunes. But then there's others that I'm going to make a last-ditch appeal. Let me make an appeal to you to understand. I spend every day of this show, every program, talking about the situation that black people face. Do you realize for the last 4 years, I've been talking about that under Democratic rule with all these programs in place. And with all these programs in place, I've been having these complaints. Now you want me to be upset that the conditions under which I've been complaining about the maternal death rate, about the paternal death rate, about the lack of job opportunity, lack of job programs, the lack of this, the lack of that, the overwhelming mass incarceration statistics, all the numerous issues that I cite time after time. You want me to be upset that those programs that were in place, wow, all of this benign neglect was going on, wow, all of this disenfranchisement was going on, wow, mass incarceration has been going on, wow, 40% of the homeless rate, the poverty rate, the racial wealth gap, the vast difference. All these programs been in place. And you're like, now you're really in trouble. These programs that were in place while all this carnage was going on for black people are going away. I know Roland Martin and his friends who covertly work for him and some who directly work for him. They want to over and over stomp their feet, pound their chest, and yell and scream and call people names who don't agree with them. It's hard to deny the fact that Black Americans are in a bad position. We've been in a bad position under Democrats and under Republicans. We just spent 16 years under the Democrats. Save that 4 years with Trump. Excuse me if I'm not petrified. Yeah, pardon me if I don't shiver and shake in my boots. So if you're telling me now, brace myself, here come the hard times, I humbly ask, what the fuck do you think we've been going through? And obviously, you ain't one of us, because you don't even know we going through them. All right.
Right. And so, there are civil service protections theoretically, but they're getting around them in very interesting ways. They're saying, well, we're going to reassign people to maybe jobs that are not so attractive. They're saying everyone come back to work. Maybe people are in Kansas or in some other place where it's not practical. Maybe they'll quit on their own. And then there's this no snitching policy, essentially saying we're getting rid of DEI. And if somehow there's secret DEI going on in your department and you don't literally snitch on your coworkers who are accidentally hiring black people or veterans or women, then you're in trouble because obviously they.
Why'd you truncate? Nah, man, you don't have to accidentally hire. Notice how she said black people first. Is it black people get all the DEI jobs? We know that ain't true. That's not true. I could not find that statistic anywhere. Only like 3% of DEI managers are black. Only 3% of DEI managers and directors are black. Okay? Diversity officers, almost 95% white women. And we got this asshole sitting up here talking about you can't hire black people now. The rate of black hiring is so low under DEI, I don't know if it can get worse. For some reason, these white women just kept hiring more white women. And I know she knows that. And as I pointed out, diversity is a long list of different criteria that make an office diverse. Black is, if you had an all-black office, it wouldn't be diverse, would it? Thank people, work with me. She's a liar. Diverse would be a Benetton commercial. Anybody remember the Benetton commercials of the 80s and 90s? That had everybody in it. You remember that? It was an Asian, a Native American, one black woman, few trans people, gay people, somebody's Jewish person with a yarmulke, somebody in a wheelchair, an Eskimo. It was all these different people, Native American, Indigenous American, all these different people. There'd be 10 people from all, that's diversity. Diversity is not 10 black people, okay? Stop the cap.
Want to fill these positions with their friends, not career civil servants.
Yeah, I think that turning federal employees against one another, particularly during a transition when there's a lot of change, no matter what.
I can't watch him. He's an ass kisser. He's afraid. He's just happy to be there. He sounds like a dog that's been kicked too many times, and I don't appreciate that. Bring a guest on with a backbone. Joy, stop leading. Stop leading your guests so far down the road. Jesus Christ. What say you guys? What say you? Anybody got any thoughts on this? What do we got? I got another segment, but I'd like to take a break and go to the Tim Black Wolfpack and see what the Wolfpack members are thinking. Wolfpack, what's up, Wolfpack? Cat Negrita says she's shifty. She is shifty. Yo, there it is. I'm guessing 1 in 6 to 7 hires are black. You would be guessing right. It's somebody who worked, so as somebody, now this is anecdotal, at least I will admit, it's anecdotal. I wasn't everywhere, but I did work as a contractor in Washington, D.C. at the Department of Justice for a period of time. And then I worked at the Department of Urban Housing and Urban Development. Okay, so I can tell you that Department of Justice was not flush with the blacks. This was in the late 90s, early 2000s. They were not flush with the blacks at all. I remember in the late 90s, black women being surprised to see a black man in a tie. That black man was I. Okay, so it was a big deal. Okay, this was not typical. There may be some black guys there. They be downstairs in the mailroom. Right? HUD was a little bit different, but as we know, because it says urban in the title, presidents have had the inclination to put a black person in under it, okay? So for some reason, HUD typically has more people, more black people will work at HUD, okay? But it's for black straight men, not as many as you think. DC, when they talk about diversity, they talk about diversity, okay? So just take that for what it's worth, okay? It's a lot of different folks. And people from this area will tell you that the federal government, DC government, the federal government, I work for the federal government as a contractor. So I didn't really work for the federal government, but I work for a contractor of the federal government. So anyway, that's my point. So I've actually been Here, I've spent my whole life in this area. So if DC is any type of evidence of anything, I just gave it to you. This idea that it's flush with black people just killing it, that ain't true. I did have an opportunity to be a technical manager that supported a lot of black Americans who were in good positions, but that was the big positions. Those were people appointed. Those are people, anyway. That was not typical of all government agencies. It's not typical. HUD is an outlier, and most people would tell you that. Be that as it may, guys, let me know what you think, guys, if you've been around. Males Universe says the biggest beneficiaries of DEI are white male CEOs. It's on Google. You know, I could not find that. I could not find it to corroborate your statement, my brother. And that's a good statement. I'm about to look that up, Nikas. I appreciate you offering that. White women thought jobs were freedom and got that banana in the tailpipe. Oh my God. That's funny. That's funny. Yo, I worked for the IRS on the contract late 80s. Contract labor is even more exploited than regular. The feds buy humbug. There you go. That's what I'm talking about. And man, do people use their power in all types of ways that are horrible. Horrible. Be that as it may, guys. I tell you, man, I've been telling folks, we're going to have ourselves a class war before we have any other type of war in this country. It's going to be a class war. People are tired of their pockets being tight. They're tired of what they're dealing with inflation, prices of everything. And on top of that, we got all these civil issues, these social issues that we're letting get in the way of everything. It's just, okay, I want to go to what's happening with the deportations, but I would like for us to try to be civil. I got some clips about the deportations. I'd like for us to be able to interact and discuss them without tearing people's faces off. No turn off faces in the comment section, please. Do not eat the internal organs. Do not eat the internal organs of the immigrants in the comments. Jesus Christ, what is going on with you people? Now, seriously, though, I do got some clips I want to run by you. Before I do that, hit the like button if you're on Facebook or if you're an X. I need you on this algorithm, man. This algorithm do not be showing me love. Please hit the like button. They've been trying to destroy me for years. I keep fighting back, but I need your help to keep the fight going. I'm getting older. My left hook is dropping. My right hand is strong as it used to be. I gotta use the index finger these days. Help a brother out. Y'all ready to move on? Let's do it. Immigration. Oh, immigration. It is the order of the day. It is what's on the minds and hearts of people all across the country as they try to figure out what is the right way forward. We have people who are afraid for their lives, afraid for what tomorrow will hold because they're undocumented. Then we have people that are under the wire, wondering if things are going to get better for them, and they're looking at what's happening around them, and they're wondering, why do I got to compete against so many people for so little? Yes, people are turning on one another, and it's all getting politicized. My name is Tim Black, and let's take a look at the deportation update.
Trump, you feel me? I'm not going back to Haiti. Trump, you feel me? Yo, Biden forever, bro. Thank Obama for everything that he did for me, bro.
Well, he's wrong. He's going back to Haiti. I can tell him that. Well, I can tell you right now, Chris, is we arrested 1,300 people Over 1,000 of them were criminals. Who are the other ones? They're either fugitives who've been through immigration court in order to remove but didn't leave and became a fugitive, or collaterals. Where did the collateral arrests happen? In sanctuary cities, because they forced us into the community. Look, I said from day one, no one's off the table. If you're United States illegally, you got a problem. But we are concentrating on public safety threats first. And it just makes sense. I don't care if a Republican, a Democrat, Independent. Why not let law enforcement go into a county jail, a taxpayer county jail, to arrest a guy that you locked in a jail cell? So obviously the public safety threat, that would solve a lot of this problem. I hope the sanctuary cities come around. I really hope once they see what we're doing, and we'll invite you out, we'll be very transparent. Once they see that we really are concentrated on the criminals, that they'll come to us and sit at the table and work with us.
I'm not going back to Haiti. Trump, you feel me? Yo, Biden forever, bro. Thank Obama for everything that he did for me, bro.
Well, he's wrong. He's going back to Haiti. I tell him that.
What was the reaction, Bill, if you got any, from some of the residents in these communities?
It was interesting. Most of the time, people are just kind of like peeking out their windows watching it happen. But on the arrest of that Dominican illegal alien, the alleged heroin trafficker with the assault with a deadly weapon charge, a woman actually came up to ICE and told them, thank you for arresting him. She clearly didn't have a good experience with that guy, or for whatever reason wanted to thank the officers, and the officers responded and said, you're welcome. So just goes to show, even out here in Boston in the sanctuary area, there are locals out here who do appreciate what ICE is doing, and have obviously had issues with some of these bad apples that ICE is going after.
Well, one of the things that people kept asking today, and I knew you would have an answer, is how is it possible that these individuals with such long records, with violent records, whether it's assault or rape or sexual assault, drug trafficking, they were just freely going about their business in the community, doing God knows what, but it couldn't have been good.
You know what? I ask ICE that exact same question. When I see some of these rap sheets like aggravated child rape, rapes, attempted murders, I ask them, okay, how are these people on the street in the first place for you guys to go after? Like, who's releasing these people? And they all just give me the same answer. That's Massachusetts for you. That's Massachusetts for you. Like, these severe crimes, they get really low bails, so they're just let out, and then they ignore ICE's detainer requests. So, I mean, if you just go on ICE Boston's press release website every day, like, they're getting these horrible arrests every single day: child rape, sexual assault, murder, fentanyl trafficking, and it just makes your jaw hit the floor because all these people are out on the street free, and the locals just won't cooperate with ICE. It's mind-boggling.
Well, I mean, again, if the people of Massachusetts, this is the state they want, and this is the situation they want, then they're going to have to make decisions when it comes to vote, and I guess they can keep doing it. But it seems like this is, so far, a really popular move by Trump and ICE. Bill, thank you for getting in there and reporting for us. We really appreciate it.
I'm not going back to Haiti. Trump, you feel me? Yo, Biden forever, bro. Thank Obama for everything that he did for me, bro.
Well, he's wrong. He's going back to Haiti. I tell him that.
Jesus Christ. Give it up for that. That's a tough room. I can say this, man. There's not going to be any easy solutions, okay? But I got to wonder, what type of country do you want to live in where if there'll be a person that has broken the law to a degree of what this guy was explaining, and I'm going to take him at his word. I don't know if he's telling the truth or not, but I'm going to take him at his word if he's telling the truth that there are people that are illegally in our country, the one we pay to be in. I know I do. I don't know about you. And they've committed crimes, and the cops won't turn them over to ICE. So they get to continue to commit crimes and not go back to their country. They get to continue to commit crimes here. I don't want citizens committing crimes. If we can deport citizens who committed crimes that hurt people, like of the nature of which this guy was saying, and I'm trying not to say some of it, but some of it was violent stuff like killing people and assault and rape. Like, I don't know a person here that wants those people in their communities. I know just because I'm a black person doesn't mean I want my mother and my sister and me and my kids around that type of thing, around people that commit those types of crimes. So you mean to tell me you wouldn't want to report that person because you don't want them to be sent home? Now, I remember when I lived in an apartment building, it was back in the early 2000s, I think it was, maybe the mid-90s probably. And it was a guy upstairs above me. They used to make a lot of loud noise, and they'd get to smoking weed. And this is way before weed was legal. And you know what? I used to be mad. I'd bang on the floor, but I never called the cops. I wanted to a couple of times, but I always thought, what if I call the cops? The cops come, they smell the weed, and all these young people get taken off to jail. I feel bad about that. I would feel bad. Anything can happen. You call somebody in because you got a simple noise complaint. It gets escalated. Somebody moves the wrong way. Somebody's got a warrant. Somebody does something dumb. Next thing you know, somebody gets shot. I didn't want that on my conscience. But you know what? That wasn't somebody. I didn't think they were illegally in the country. I didn't think they were running from justice. I just thought they were loud young people who didn't give a damn about being polite to their neighbors. So I understand that, okay? I'm not without empathy. But what I'm saying is, if a city knows who don't know these people, the city knows they just released a person who was undocumented illegally in this country for a violent crime against American citizens. You won't report them to get them dealt with? You want them to stay in this country? So how are they finding where to go to get these people, Johnson? That's because they're in the system. Because most of them, I'm hoping he's saying most of these people have broken laws. They have broken not just jaywalking, not an open container. I don't know. Sanctuary cities, they got this deal. They don't want to turn anybody over. I know that Brandon Johnson over there in Chicago went on this long, passionate rant about how he wanted to stand with the immigrant community. He's not going to do this, not going to do that. I've never heard him go on a rant like that for us. And he is black. And that's what I notice about a lot of these people. Brandon Johnson has never ranted about poor black people in Chicago needing a better shake, needing a fairer shake. But he rants about immigrants needing a fairer shake. We can't treat them that way. And then people wonder where the animosity comes from. Reality, that's where it comes from. It comes from everyday experience. It comes from knowing people or being people that are couch surfing, waiting on your opportunity to have a place for you and your family while you are down, while your chips are down, and watching busload after busload go and get accommodated that day. And you being told, step aside. Right this way, ma'am. I want to be very clear with you. The reason why they're going right this way, ma'am, is because there's money attached to it. See, there are people that don't understand how the money works. Every one of those migrants is a price tag. They are money, baby. There's going to be somebody get paid to feed them food, somebody get paid to shelter them, to put them in a hotel. By the day, they get allocated a certain amount of money per immigrant a day. That money it's like printed out of nowhere. It's just free money to the company or to the organization that fulfills the service of helping these migrants. See, that's what I don't think people get. There is no monetary assistance. There is no monetary benefit. Nobody's printing money for poor black people or poor white people on the street. But the federal government, or in this case, the state government, somehow prints money, not prints it, but gets money, moves money on a spreadsheet or in a database for migrants. That's the real reason why it's happening. It's not because they love them. They give a damn about what's going on in their country. Some of the things you guys are saying is just crazy. Like, were you born yesterday? America don't give a damn about people. America's a corporation. We're the United Corporations of the United States. What's going on with people? Some people are really getting this twisted. They don't like migrants more than they like you. It's just they're easier to make money off of. Dave Chappelle said it best. Black people are poor bargaining chips. Get it? Not because of something we did. It's just hard to make money off of us unless we're in jail. Then they make money putting you in a jail cell, like a hotel, putting you to work, fighting a forest fire, or making clothes for the military, or whatever they put you to work to do. It never changed. It never stopped. The 13th Amendment. I just think some of us need to be more in touch with reality. Some of us are living in la-la land on this thing. So, to sum it up, guys, it's a dirty game. It's a very dirty game, and we're on the bottom of this thing. And all of us are feeling it. And all of us are seeing it. And all feelings are understood. I understand somebody that says, hey, I care about people. Migrants are people. I want them treated fairly. I get that totally. I understand where you're coming from. I do. I wish there was a way where America did for its citizens the way they're doing for these migrants at this time. It would be the best case scenario. But I do want to add this. Even though I support sending back people that are legally here and have them come in an orderly way where there's time to allocate time for them or space for them, you can't be displacing and jumping in front of other citizens, United States citizens, who have not been receiving services. That just can't happen. That should not happen. That's what's been happening. I understand if you don't understand that because you haven't experienced it. I had to learn it from my audience. I'm in an office. I'm in a basement studio 7 days a week doing content and editing. It took you guys telling me this stuff and then me going out at 4th of July or certain events and talking to family and friends to get the lowdown of what's happening in the streets, just because everything I'm getting is coming through the media, through the internet, through TV, because I work all the time. But those are the stories that I'm getting. But I gotta add this. I would be wrong if I did not include this. If we ever gonna see any real changes that truly benefit us, lasting changes, Donald Trump would have to institute policies that I don't think he's going to introduce. As a federal jobs program, for instance. Housing, that would be important. These things, housing, education, and federal jobs, those 3 things need to be implemented. It's not going to be enough just to send migrants back without putting those things in place. You need those 3 issues taken care of. We need programs that aid in those areas if we're going to see a real, true change in our situation. It's not just migrants. It's not just the migrant situation that has caused the dereliction or the degradation of our inner cities. It's a lot of factors. But if you got a car, you need some new tires, you need the brakes done, and you need a new transmission or your transmission overhauled. If somebody says, well, hey, all that guy's enough to help you with the tires, you say, nah, keep your money. I gotta wait because I still need the other parts done. See, that's why some of the people sound who be like, nah, we should be glad about this. Nah, it's necessary. America's very competitive. People that say America's not competitive are tripping. They must have been on the upside of the competition. I wonder if they've had the complexion for the protection from the collection. Because when you sit on the bottom of the barrel, when you are from a people that have 10 cents for every dollar a white family has, you have 10 cents, and you're telling people at the bottom of the barrel, hey, it's enough for everybody. You sound like a goddamn fool. Frustration. How can I say this? Desperate times create desperate people. Desperate times make people act without empathy. And this desperation is all manufactured because a nation like America has the resources that its citizens could be more charitable. It just won't allocate the resources to the people. The money that was spent funding Ukraine could have ended homelessness in America. I shit you not. The resources that were spent funding Israel could have been allocated to raise children out of poverty. They were not. Nina Turner once said, poverty is a policy decision. For Americans to truly be more empathetic, we need our government to be more empathetic towards us. All right, guys, thank you for tuning in to the Tim Black Show. I got nothing but love for you. Go into the comment section. Don't forget this show is brought to you by Tim Black Show. This is the Politics Mug, politics for the people. Go to timblackmug.com, timblackmug.com. Look at that thing. It's out of the shot anyway. And what else we got? Thank you, Black Magic, for supporting the show. Good thing I cursed, or no one would have gave a super chat tonight. Do I need to curse more? If I curse more, will I get more super chats for the show? Is that what's needed? How are we doing with the likes, Buck? How the likes going, Buck? I don't know what number we're on. What about my people on Twitter, X? How about my people on X, my people on Facebook? Is anybody on Facebook? Anybody on X? Let's find out, Tim Black. Where the people at? Facebook. Is anybody on? We had some people hit like. Well, I'm here. I don't see them. Hello. That's why I wonder if I do a Twitter space where people show up, because I do a live show. No one really watches live shows. I think the X likes spaces, not live shows on Twitter. I don't know. What about Facebook? Anybody need a shout out on Facebook? What about Facebook people at? Karen Toyahora, Rafael Padilla, and Buck Bewley for some reason on Facebook. Thanks guys for what you do. Give it up for that. Yo, Donald Moore, did you get your... I must have did a good job, Donald, did I? Thanks, fam. Hey, Donald, your mug, is it there yet? My bad. I don't want to put people out there like that, but I hope you got your package. Please tell me it got there in one piece. And look, guys, if you got a mug from Tim Black, let me know how the shipping went. I need to learn from you. I've never shipped stuff. I've been doing all the packaging. Everything you got is for me. So, by my own hands. So, it's okay to give me feedback privately. Give me feedback privately about how things went. Make me do better. It'll help me do better because I aim to do a good job. You know what I'm saying? So I appreciate y'all. Nothing but love for you. All right, guys, that is it. I try to tell you that is it. Yo, fam, thank you. Black Magic says, eat the rich. Nothing but love, guys. Look, I love you. Remember, like I always say, don't let anybody take your cornbread. That's your cornbread. Damn it, Eat it. Yeah, I feel good. That's it, y'all. And like they always say, the Tim Black Show is the truth the Black America deserves. The raw truth the Black America deserves. Our mission is to help Black people get out of the burning house, which is the Democratic Party. Are we clear? All right, guys. And with that, I say, like I always do, where my ladies at? Oh, there they go.